Sega.
Hello, my name is Jack Lusted and I'm the lead unit designer on Total War Rome 2. Today, I'm going to give you more insight into the game and some of the hot topics from the forums. With siege battles in Rome 2, we've really wanted to change how the game plays in these battles. In previous Total War games, these battles have often ended up being a bit of a meat grinder at a central capture point at the end of the battle, which hasn't been very fun. Shogun 2, we changed it up with the multiple levels of castles and many different attack routes, which made the battles more dynamic. But that was facilitated by the design of Japanese castles. With Rome 2 and the switch back to traditional big walled European cities, we had to take a different approach. And what we're doing is adding in multiple capture points within the city. In order to win a siege battle now, you have to take and hold most of these capture points, which means that as a defender, you have both the walls to defend, but you can't just sit at one capture point and try and win the battle. You have to be active in defence, trying to repel the attackers and win the battle yourself. A topic that's come up in the forums and often gets talked about is the speed of combat. We're going to be slowing down the battle slightly from Shogun 2. How much we can't say yet because it's all about the fine balancing as we go past alpha and beta. But we're also looking at how the combat plays out between different units. So there's a big change going on to the combat rules, how fast units move, the rate of casualties, and all those factors that play into it. Unit sizes in Rome 2 are going to be about the same as previous Total War games. I know there's a large amount of people in the forum who'd like to have huge units, 600 men wide, going through the settlement, but it just causes a lot of problems. Some people talk about us going more abstract. Why don't we go to a more wargamey solution of high-level chain of command? You just give vague orders to your units and they carry them out for you. It's not really what we wanted from Total Battles. Total Battles for us are, you are in control of the whole battlefield. It's not what historical generals would have done, but it makes for really great gameplay where it is your decision that meant that you made that crucial flanking move and won the battle. As our games have gotten bigger, there's been a question about, well, why hasn't the number of playable factions increased? And this is because that each game we go into more and more depth with those factions. For Rome 2, we're really emphasising this. We're putting more depth into campaign map features, more unique rosters, more text, things like that. So it's one of those questions of quality versus quantity, and we really want to go for quality. So people have raised concerns based on the unit rosters in Shogun 2 that in Rome 2 the factions will be very generic and similar. I mean, Shogun 2 was the way it was because it was all about the Japanese Civil War and the Saga of Judai. The factions were essentially the same, so there wasn't much possibility for variety. With Rome 2 we're covering a vast area with very diverse cultures and looks, and we are representing that in the game. We have the most units in any Total War game to date, and they'll also be the most regionally diverse units as well. So Celtic units will look different to Germanic, will look different to Iberian, will look different to Roman. It's all an emphasis on that because that massively increases the variety of gameplay you see and makes it feel really different when you're fighting on different parts of the map. The Siege of Carthage visual was done pre-alpha, so it's a very early stage of development, and a lot's changed since then. So at that point we got unit looks in to create diversity and look good, but it wasn't with the final system. As we release more art for Rome 2, you will see this difference between what we showed in Carthage and what the units will look like in the final game. Siege battle maps are getting a big change from Shogun 2. Like Shogun 2 they were all castles, quite small, and there was a limited set of them because they all had to be handmade. With Rome 2, as you saw with the Siege of Carthage battle, the maps are much bigger, there's a lot more going in on them, and we're going to get a lot bigger diversity of settlements as well. We want to make sure you're not fighting the same battle map again and again and again, so we're really putting emphasis on getting in a large variety of settlements which will each play differently. Historically in Total War games there's always been more siege battles than land battles, and that's something we've been working hard to change. In Shogun 2 it was around half and half, but still not quite where we wanted it to go. And with Rome 2 there's a big change coming to the campaign map, breaking it up into provinces and regions. Won't go into too much detail about the mechanics yet, but one of the emphasis behind this is making there be less siege battles, but making those siege battles more epic and more meaningful, because they happen less often. There's also going to be a much greater variety of battle terrain in Rome 2. We're covering a much greater geographical area, so you're going to see range from deserts to high mountains to British countryside. And we're really working hard to make those battle maps all look really nice and relate to how the campaign map looks.